Melinda, where are you?
Okay, we can start our slide deck. Hello, everybody. And Nancy, thank you for doing such a warm welcome and really acknowledging our newest members. This is wonderful. Okay, hello, everybody, and welcome to our Giving Circle annual business meeting. We kick off each January so members can see the results of their dollars, and with that understanding, bring in new participants to amplify our impact of collective giving. Our presentation today is on Zoom, and I hear it's really snowy and blowy in Rochester, so stay warm.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Melinda.
Yes,
I don't see the slides.
you don't see the slides.
We did, and then it looked like they popped off.
Okay, thank you.
I can
I'm
see
still
them
seeing it.
okay.
I can
All
see
right
it.
on my screen.
I have the
I can
slides.
see them.
Oh, okay. I guess something's going with me.
Check what your view is.
I can see it.
Are we okay?
I think so.
I don't see it, but
I do have to pop up and let people in, but I'm not hitting stop share, so hopefully we're okay.
I
Are
don't
we
know.
on
You
I'm
see
not
it, Linda?
seeing-
I see it. I see the slide.
Huh.
Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Okay,
Terry will be smoothly guiding us through the slides and will manage our Zoom link. And Nancy Hessler will keep an eye on the chat room and we'll pause the speaker if it's necessary. But please know we will have time at the end for your comments and questions. And we plan to wrap this up a little bit over an hour. So move on to the next slide, our agenda. And there it goes. See, I see it. Our agenda today, I will update you on membership engagement. Linda Josephs will review the results of the grants that we awarded in 2023 and provide you with a brief update on the grants we put out in 2024. Carol Heidi will talk to you about the grant making cycles that happened in 24 and we'll share with you what's going on this year. Jill Miller, our treasurer, will update us on the financial health of the circle, and then I'll come back on and update you with our guiding principles, operational structure, and then we can address any questions. Next slide. Our mission for 18 years, we've worked to uplift our community through intentional philanthropy. We are one of 4,000 collective giving groups in the US generating, are you ready for this? 3.1 billion, that's billion. Back to the next slide, backward, thank you, billion. And that's expected to double per the Journal of Philanthropy today within 5 years. Rochester Women's Giving Circle is part of Philanos, a network of 90 women-only affiliates focused on informed giving and impactful grant making for local communities. So we have a business model that is tried, true, and growing. Next slide. Yes, your leadership team is listening. We continue to explore ways that we can increase membership engagement and attendance in our circle functions. In fact, this year we shifted this meeting to noon, kind of to make it more convenient to providing you a chance to get a midday meal and stay updated with your giving circle without interfering with your evening commitments. So let us know what you think of the new time change, noon versus 5 o'clock. We collectively depend on each other to spread the word of the work we're doing with our donations. Our impact grows when we share it. More members mean we have more grant dollars to fund the needed programs in our community. So host a gathering at your house or your office, and a member of our leadership team will help create a casual and informative session to share our mission. Together, we can inspire more women to join the efforts to support women and girls in our community. Okay, we've explored opportunities with other giving circles at the Community Foundation. However, nothing has panned out. And as an update, the Community Foundation let us know that the African American Giving Initiative, the Developmental Disabilities Giving Circle, and Next Gen Giving Circle have collapsed due to a lack of volunteer leadership. Their funds that were there will be combined at the Community Foundation resources so their missions can continue. This year, I'm pleased to say we will have more in-person events. However, not for this meeting. Our committees have urged the leadership team that having in-person meetings is far more inviting than being on Zoom. So our February, yes, wintertime, and September, beautiful fall, those education sessions will be in person. Our socials will continue to be in person, and Jill will continue to host in 2025 a summer gathering at her home. What's brand new for 2025 will be the timing of our grant celebration. We were responding to feedback about the early morning start time of our past celebrations. The leadership team decided to change it from a breakfast format to an evening mocktail cocktail celebration. This exciting change provides an opportunity for everyone to join in the festivities without morning rushes, especially for parents with school-aged children. A few years ago, we developed a process for our new members to be paired with a circle friend. You know, a new member can welcome the newbie, or the old member, I shouldn't say old, the veteran member can welcome the newbie to events, provide history on our circle, and answer questions. Last year, membership co-chair Nancy Hessler, extraordinaire, created a cohort of our newest members. Those women joining in 22, 23, and 24 met as a class of like-minded Giving Circle members to get better acquainted and enjoy shared activities. In fact, it was new member Marcia Bolio that took the lead to facilitate and execute the first cohort meeting held in September at new member Jackie Germanow's downtown art studio. Marcia led the group in a conversation about the arts and how integral they are in our lives. The connection we share with our passions of the arts included why we were driven as individuals to include our resources in our Giving Circle philanthropy model. Next slide. Well, look at those smiling faces. Members organized themselves this past summer to enjoy 2 bike rides. The first, they biked to Chase Farm, and in order to recharge for the trip back, they had to have strawberry shortcake. The next bicycling trip they took in July, the destination was Pittsford Dairy, so they could recharge and ride back. I'm sensing there will be more bike outings, so reach out to Nancy Hessler if you're interested in getting some cardio work and maybe a sweet fix. You'll see the picture on your right is from the studio, the cohort that met. And I just want to thank Jackie for hosting us. Musette, I see you. I see some of our new members there. And just lastly, standing next to me is Paula Carter, a founder of the Giving Circle. All right, celebrating our members. Hello, members like you. Renew your annual donations. And I'd like to share with you these newly crowned 5, 10, and 15-year anniversary members. This past November, the Community Foundation honored one of our members with a philanthropy award. Geeta Ramachandran, a member since 2010 with us, was honored for her work in the community. I want to thank you, Geeta, for your work and for your continued patronage to this Giving Circle. Thank you. Now it's time for me to mute and for Linda to come on.
Thanks, Melinda. Hello, everyone. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal back in November titled 15-Minute Fixes to Feel Better. And the advice was to donate your time or money and then follow the money. It went on to say, acts of charity are more rewarding when we can see the impact of our gifts. You will feel a deeper connection if you watch how your donation is used. And as you know, one of the key principles of the Giving Circle is to follow our money. And the partner committee is tasked with that responsibility, establishing relationships with the grantee organizations to understand their achievements, challenges, and the impact of our grants so that we can share that with you, our members. These are the partners for the 2023 and 2024 grant cycles, and I'd like to thank each of them for the great job they have done developing meaningful relationships and staying in closer contact with our grantees. Nancy Bojack, Laura Kahn, and Sandy Greer are not continuing as partners for the 2024 cycle. However, I'm pleased to share that Jean Morey and two of our newest circle members, Cresty Utek and Marcia Bolio, have joined as a partner this year, and I'm excited to be working with them. Before I discuss our 2023 grantee accomplishments, I want to provide you with an update on the final results for Urban League of Rochester. If you remember at last year's business meeting, I reported on the progress for Urban League. 2022 was the second year we funded them for their Families in Transition program, which was a new pilot project designed to provide job readiness training, education, and other essential skills to support and mentor women who are entering or re-entering the workforce. In June of 2023, they discontinued that program due to restructuring in their Family Services division, and we approved their request to extend the grant timeline and use the grant money to support their Women's Business Center's new program, Introduction to Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management, which was designed to provide personal, professional, business development training and coaching to support women who are aspiring or new business owners. The program start was delayed due to staffing issues, so we granted them a 2-month extension to report their final results. So the update they provided in March 2024, which is highlighted in blue on the slide, reported that 7 of the 12 women who were enrolled in their Hustle and Flow program completed it and received stipends in February. 7 of the women also completed the business model canvas, providing them with a business plan. 3 women received special assistance to cover small business license fees. And although Urban League was able to quickly pivot to the new program, and they did make good progress in helping women on the path towards economic self-sufficiency, they did fall short of their ambitious goals. So we rated them as some outcomes achieved. So now on to our 2023 grantees. These are the organizations that we funded in 2023. And I'm very pleased to report that most of the agencies are really gaining traction, finally leaving the lingering effects of COVID behind and moving forward to expand their programs and realize some of their strategic initiatives. I'm now going to share the outcomes for the grants we awarded in June 2023 for the 2023-24 grant cycle. And as a reminder, we assess the final results of grantee performance based on a scale. Minimal outcomes achieved, some outcomes achieved, most outcomes achieved, essential outcomes achieved, and outcomes fully achieved or exceeded. There's a lot of information on the slide, so as always, it'll be posted on the website so that you can review them if needed after the meeting at your own pace. So the first grantee for 2023 was Agape Haven of Abundance. The Urban Youth Empowerment Program is a year-round, out-of-school program targeting at-risk youth ages 6 to 18 in the Edgerton neighborhood to reduce intergenerational poverty by empowering youth and girls so that they can become independent, caring, and successful members of their community. Nancy Bojack was the partner, and she has transitioned that responsibility to Jean Morey for 2024. 2023 was the second year we funded this organization, and their program includes an after-school youth empowerment program, which provides youth with a safe place to gather and participate in structured group activities, including homework help, social emotional support, and educational enriched opportunities. Agape also has a work-based learning program, which provides adolescent girls with severe cognitive disabilities opportunities to develop lifelong skills that prepare them for post-secondary education and job skills that are transferable to the workplace. As you can see in this chart, the girls in both groups showed improvement in academic achievement, school attendance, self-esteem, emotional well-being, positive peer interaction, and reduced criminal activity. Our funding also goes towards a summer enrichment program, which provides youth with access to free educational enrichment activities for 8 weeks during the summer. And I'm very pleased to report the positive impacts their programs have made towards educational advancement and employment. 2 participants of the after-school program graduated from high school and are enrolled full-time at MCC, and both obtained employment as paraprofessionals with the Rochester City School District. They have been assigned to Agape as youth ambassadors, advocating for youth and assisting with recruiting, promoting, and raising awareness of the Agape programs. 3 participants of the summer program found employment, and 2 of them began college in the fall. And 3 participants of the work-based learning program graduated from high school and have secured employment. In addition, our funding allowed Agape to hire 2 former participants of the program as youth counselors, and both are enrolled at MCC. So Agape has fully achieved or exceeded their outcomes for 2023. Next is Friendly Senior Living. The staff training and employment program was designed to address their critical shortage of direct care staff while providing an opportunity for advancement for women who face roadblocks to continuing education. Laurel Pace was their partner. And this was the first time we funded Friendly Senior Living. The STEP program provided the Certified Nursing Assistant course free of charge and with full-time wages of $15 per hour paid during the program. Employment was guaranteed at $16.66 per hour upon successful completion, with career ladder advancement available beyond the CNA level. They partnered with BOCES and MCC to recruit women for the program, and they exceeded their target. They offered free CNA training to 33 women and paid them stipends. However, they were not able to meet their hiring and retention goals. The number of women who completed the training and were hired was a little over 50% of target, and the number of women who remained to work at Friendly Home was 40% of target. The difficulty in retention of participants was clearly not fully appreciated when the grant was written, and the original goal of 100% retention turned out to be unrealistic. A success coach was hired midway through the grant to focus on retention. However, we were unable to get any information about the coach's findings. And as mentioned in Friendly Senior Living's final report, our grant jump-started this program, helping them to get a significant New York State grant that allowed them to expand the program tenfold, which is a huge success. Our partner, Laurel, got the sense that we became deprioritized well before our grant concluded with respect to communication and follow-up. And as a result, both the mid-cycle and final reports were late and required some prodding to get them completed. It is significant that 17 women got certified as a CNA and got hired by Friendly Senior Living. However, unfortunately, their key objectives were not met. So they were rated as some outcomes achieved. Next is Greentopia. The Green Vision's Growing Healthy Futures program provides workforce experience developing vacant city lots into fields of flowers and harvesting them for sale, job certifications and career development training to unemployed, out of school, and disengaged youth ages 17 to 24 in the Josana and Joseph Avenue neighborhoods. Laura Kahn was the partner, and she has transitioned that to Cresty UTEC for this year. 2023 was the 5th year that we funded this program, and unlike the 2 previous years, the weather actually cooperated to produce a bounty of flowers to be sold at the public market or used to create bouquets for special events or candles. They continued to engage with community partners to amass a pool of candidates to interview. A cohort of 15 was hired for the spring session, 7 of them women. Two of the women that OASIS recruited were immigrants, one from Cuba and one from Jamaica, who did not yet have work authorization granted by the US government. Green Visions was a transformational partner to them as they were able to pair their time learning English and working towards their GED with real-world experience. With the untaxable educational stipend paid by Green Visions, they were able to support themselves and their families and pay some of their legal expenses necessary to navigate the immigration process. All the women completed the training provided, but unfortunately only 6 of the 7 graduated the program. One had to be let go for a consistent absence and unacceptable behavior. There were also some significant developments in 2023. A winter cohort was recruited for the first time, which included 5 women. And after years of applying to Rochester Works, Greentopia was finally awarded a youth navigator who will provide support, wraparound services, and mentorship to participants. They also hired a new staff member as workforce development specialist. In addition to her role at Greentopia, she currently serves as the adjunct instructor site associate at the iTech Training and Education Center, which hopefully will provide even more diverse job training opportunities and experience. And in other good news, permits were approved to break ground on their new headquarters on Whitney Street. One item of concern reported by the director was a change in the landscape of funding. Large institutions such as U of R and RIT are creating new programs for workforce development, and now grassroots organizations like Greentopia are competing with them for local, regional, and state funding. So hopefully they will be successful in keeping the funding that they need for the next year. So Greentopia achieved essential outcomes for 2023. Next is JPC. The Women's Legal Action and Employability Project seeks to increase women's economic independence by providing legal services support to women with convictions who have stabilized their lives. Emily Lambert is their partner. And 2023 was the 12th year we funded JPC, and they once again achieved extraordinary results, exceeding all of their targets. They were able to serve 266 women, 83% women of color, and 77% of whom had children. They reviewed and corrected 266 rap sheets and assisted 220 women in removing barriers to employment, such as obtaining certificates of relief and education on employment rights. A total of 142 women obtained employment, over 40% more than the previous year. During this grant period, JPC prioritized a holistic approach to client well-being by strengthening partnerships with other community agencies to ensure clients can access all available services they need. They established a focus group comprised of past clients and representatives from community organizations to identify service gaps within both JPC and the broader community. These efforts have deepened JPC's community connections, increased awareness of its programs, and resulted in more referrals to their program. JPC also initiated several efforts to collect data and feedback from participants after program completion. They've developed a new participant evaluation form, though response rates so far have been low, and they've implemented a new data gathering software to enhance their ability to track long-term outcomes and measure the sustained impact of their services. They leveraged the Level Up program this year, which provides program participants with the opportunity to complete high wage earning tech certifications for minorities. Certification programs take 3 to 6 months to complete, and JPC hired 2 of their participants as interns that completed the program and earned their certificates during their internship. Sherman Reed was recently promoted to executive director after serving as interim director when Sue Porter retired. And she brings a unique perspective to her leadership, having been a participant in the program herself. Her firsthand understanding of the challenges of reentry underscores her commitment to the agency's mission. Sherman has ambitious plans for the organization, including exploring partnerships with HUD to provide short-term housing for program participants and their families, with the goal of keeping families together and offering comprehensive in-house services to remove barriers to success. So JPC fully achieved or exceeded their outcomes for 2023. Next is Spiritus Christi Prison Outreach. The Women's Empowerment is a re-entry program that helps justice-involved homeless women become physically and mentally healthy, stably housed, and financially independent. Sarah Swan is the partner for them. In 2023, Spiritus Christi served 62 women, 50% of whom were women of color, and 89% of the women were stably housed in transitional housing, permanent supportive housing, or other healthy living situations, exceeding their goal of 85%. 87% reached their specific mental health goals and abstained from harmful substances. 42 women who had children were all able to maintain relationships with them, and 82% were able to reunite with their general family. This fell slightly short of their goal of 85%, and they are committed to improving this aspect in the future by further focusing on events centered around family time. They have made policy adjustments to allow visits and outings separate from home programming on weeknights instead of only on weekends. 94% of the women achieved economic empowerment goals. 77% obtained, maintained, or increased their income, and 27% enrolled in school, vocational, or educational programs. They have been encouraging income generation for the women in the form of completing surveys for money, attending classes, or working as freelancers. This supports their long-term recovery stability and helps them move away from risky income sources or toxic relationships. Two special highlights this year: Lisa Buscemi, the director of Jennifer House and an alum with lived experience with addiction, homelessness, and prison, graduated in May with her associate's degree in addictions counseling. And SCPO was awarded the 2023-24 Pediatric Links with the Community Advocacy Award, which recognizes a community-based organization that cares for children and families of Rochester. In summary, the key lessons learned include the ongoing value of trauma-informed and person-centered care, the necessity of family time, economic empowerment, and strong partnerships, enrichment provided by arts and culture, and the invaluable contributions of staff with lived experience. So Spiritus fully achieved or exceeded their outcomes for 2023. Teen Empowerment. The Young Women's Leadership and Employment Project is a youth organizing program that helps prepare young women in underserved neighborhoods for meaningful careers. Joanne Guarneri is the partner for Teen Empowerment. Their model focuses on serving youth in the community who are most at risk of dropping out of school and becoming involved in self-destructive behavior. Teen Empowerment provides youth with the opportunity to work at a paid job, develop job skills, and to empower them to work for positive change for themselves, their families, and their community. After several challenging years, 2023 was an exciting year of change and growth. They reported that their programming is feeling much more like pre-COVID times, as community life has shifted to more in-person normalcy, and especially as the work the program teams have done to reestablish their tenets with youth organizers is taking hold. They see this in the energy, engagement, confidence, and commitment of the youth organizers and adult staff, and in the response of participants in their initiatives. Other significant accomplishments were related to expansion in Rochester. They moved into their new West Side headquarters building on Genesee Street in May, with the official ribbon cutting ceremony in September. The East Side site finally has a permanent and accessible location on Goodman Street, co-located with Connected Communities, and they have also added a third North Side location, currently working out of Encompass facilities off Lake Avenue as they work to obtain a permanent location. In addition to physical space expansion, they have also grown staff capacity to their largest yet. In 2023, they hired 20 female youth organizers, 8 more than originally planned. They also raised all frontline program staff salaries, providing a more competitive pay rate, which has been extremely helpful in staff morale and retention. They are continuing to develop their new Reconnections program, which aims to hire and engage harder to reach youth, specifically those on the verge of or who have become disconnected from school, friends, and/or family. Their work is to find healing and build skills, avoid recidivism if they are systems involved, use their voice to influence community change, and chart a path forward. Their first cohort was hired in July, and they have seen some remarkable results so far from their hard work. They have finally, They have finally established a Beyond Teen Empowerment individual advocacy role that creates systems to better support the youth organizers and other neighborhood youth in reaching their goals during their time at TE and post-TE. They also realized a long-held goal and created a new impact manager role to facilitate the shift to their new data management platform that will streamline and centralize data collection, providing more functional, informative, and accurate data on their staff, programs, and the impact. It will also enable them to stay in touch with their youth organizers and neighborhood youth that participated in some of their initiatives. As you can see from the slide, Teen Empowerment fully achieved and exceeded their outcomes for 2023. The Veterans Outreach Center, the Female Veteran Self-Sufficiency Program, seeks to help female veterans and their families reintegrate into the community and become self-sufficient via a continuum of supportive services designed to meet the special needs of our women heroes. Sandy Greer was the partner, but unfortunately was not able to complete her tenure. The VOC was able to serve 211 female veterans, higher than their goal of 190. However, the majority of the women were in crisis, needing to have basic needs met before they could focus on employment and training. This accounts for the huge increase in provision of food, clothing, and personal care items. Throughout the grant cycle, they faced ongoing staff issues, and towards the end, they successfully hired a female veteran care manager. These two factors resulted in the VOC falling far short in almost all areas, and most importantly to us, in financial counseling, job readiness training, and employment. Only 2 women attended a financial workshop, only 6 of the 211 women gained employment, and only 14% attended job readiness training, despite the VOC initiating new partnerships with training organizations and purchasing licenses from Coursera for online learning. One of the lessons learned is to prepare strategies on how to reach more women veterans who are prepared to advance in their careers. So unfortunately, they were only able to achieve some of their outcomes. The YWCA Equity Through Development Program provides a training and mentorship program for Black and Brown women to develop skills as fundraisers and resource development officers as it seeks to address their underrepresentation in the fundraising field. Claudia Weber is their partner. 2023 was the first year we funded this program for their 3rd cohort of this initiative. They experienced high demand for this program, and using their revamped application and scoring rubric, they were able to recruit 12 out of the 69 applicants to participate in the program, 50% more than their goal. All of the women were paired with an experienced fundraising professional as a mentor and completed the 12-week curriculum. They received new iPads, they had their resumes reviewed by experienced recruiters, they got professional headshots, interview clothes, and an updated LinkedIn profile. They all obtained membership in the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and each woman completed a capstone project working with a local nonprofit organization to prepare a fundraising activity. Some of the agencies included FoodLink, Ibero-American Action League, Women's Foundation of Genesee Valley, YWCA of Rochester, and Teen Empowerment. In addition to gaining interest among applicants, more fundraising professionals are becoming aware of the program and have expressed interest in being part of it. This will increase the pool for mentors and facilitators, which makes the future growth of the program a real possibility. Members of earlier cohorts are asking to come back and participate as mentors and facilitators. Another ripple effect is that other nonprofits who are trying to grow their development departments are reaching out and asking the Y to promote open development positions among apprentices. Claudia attended the graduation ceremony and said it was so inspiring. The positive impact of the program is best expressed by one of the graduates' remarks. Quote, "My experience with the Equity Through Development program has been transformative. As a Black woman in the fundraising field, I've often faced unique challenges related to both representation and access to resources. This program created a supportive, empowering space where I felt understood, valued, and connected with other women who share similar experiences." So the YWCA fully achieved or exceeded their outcomes for 2023. So looking at overall performance, we see that most of our grant dollars in 2023 were invested in 5 agencies that fully achieved or exceeded their outcomes, and 1 that achieved essential outcomes. And it's so gratifying to see the success of our grantees and the impact of our collective giving. Simeon Bannister, CEO of the Community Foundation, said, quote, "Donors are looking for a deeper understanding of the impact of their gifts and want to have confidence that the solutions they invest in will work," unquote. Looking at the performance of our grants from inception of the Circle in 2008 through the grant year 2023, we have granted a total of $2.25 million, with 54% of our grantees fully achieving or exceeding their projected outcomes. And as we do each year, we take a step back and look at the cumulative effect of our grants, your investments. For the 2023 grant cycle, we see that our grantees served 649 women and girls, almost 100 more than the previous year, and helped 199 women find employment. Several of the programs we funded also engaged and impacted community members. Collective giving makes it possible for passionate individuals, like all of us, to pool their resources to empower communities who have not received sufficient investment. That quote from the Community Foundation 2024 Biennial Report perfectly describes our objective. In the 2023 grant cycle, we helped provide employment and educational opportunities to inner-city at-risk youth, women of color in the fundraising field, female veterans, and formerly incarcerated women. We've helped provide safe spaces for women and girls to enable them to develop higher self-esteem and confidence, and to become aware of potential opportunities for them to build a life of meaning and self-sufficiency. We have helped programs reunite women with their children and families. Strengthening women and girls also strengthens communities. Not only are we helping them, we are also providing children and families of the women served with stronger relationships, a more stable environment, and more positive role models. A sincere thank you to all of our members for their contributions. And now I'll turn this over to Carol.
Thank you, Linda. Sue Moore and I were co-chairs of the grant-making committee during last year's grant cycle. And we're happy now to have Kathy Hagan join us on the co-chair team, kind of lightening the load a bit. The smiling faces you see on this slide represent the 2024 grant-making committee. We conducted our meetings virtually, which enabled participation from Circle members who had work and family obligations or who were out of town at the time. Our goal each year is to recruit members who have never served on grant making in the past, and we welcome 2 new members who had never served on the committee before, and we thank Christy Utek and Roberta Kay for their service. We're grateful to this dedicated group of women who contributed their time and talent to the selection of our 2024 grant recipients. It's never an easy task, but these women rose to the occasion. Next slide, please. We received 32 applications last year requesting over $746,000. 50% of the applications were from agencies that had not previously applied for a grant. This is a higher percentage than in prior years. About a third were for women, 7 for girls and teens, and the others were fairly evenly distributed between projects supporting mothers and families, young women, justice involved, developmentally disabled, immigrants and refugees, and then there was one for female veterans. The graph on the right of this slide shows the number of grants by dollar amount requested. 91% of the requests were for more than $20,000. And actually 23 applications were for the full $25,000. This is a continuation of the trend that we've been seeing for larger grant requests and results in us giving out fewer grants each year. Clearly, the $190,000 that we had available for grants last year could only fulfill a fraction of these requests. The committee thoughtfully reviewed each of the applications and engaged in respectful debate until consensus was reached on the grants to fund. The 8 grants shown on this slide were awarded. You will see several familiar agencies, but we also awarded a grant for the first time to Goodwill of the Finger Lakes for a new program that they were initiating. This picture is from our awards breakfast in June, where you learned a little bit about the programs, and hopefully you read the outstanding summary of each program in the circular published last June. We awarded, as I said before, a total of $190,000 available from Circle member donations received by the end of 2023. In continuing the practice from the last couple of years, the checks were distributed as the programs were scheduled to begin. Linda Josephs and the partner committee have mastered the process of flexible start dates. And now Linda will share just a little bit about how some of these 2024 grantees are doing so far.
Thanks, Carol. In November, we delivered the last check to the YWCA, so now all 2024 grantee programs are underway. At our last partner meeting, the partners shared updates about their grantee organizations, and it was quite exciting to hear about their progress to date. Most grantees look to be on track to meet their 2024 objectives, and I'll share just a few highlights. Agape continues to expand their partnerships with community organizations to recruit new participants and add new services. They were awarded a funding grant, which will increase professional learning for staff and provide resources for STEM projects and field trips. And they were nominated by the State Senate to receive funding to assist with the expansion of their existing facility. Teen Empowerment had 500 teens apply for positions, more than ever, and they held 25 focus groups to finally select 18 female youth organizers. All completed their training. The newest third site is up and running and starting to execute their initiatives, and they are expecting to fully implement their data management system in approximately 2 weeks. Greentopia, the most significant update is that they completed the renovation of their new headquarters on Whitney Street and had a ribbon cutting ceremony in October. The mayor and state senators in attendance spoke of the positive community impact of the Green Visions program and said they would be working to replicate that in other communities in the region and state. We are funding Goodwill Learning Academy for the first time, as Carol said, and they are off to a very strong start, enrolling 18 women in their National External Diploma program and placing 4 women in other educational programs. JPC is currently running ahead of schedule on some of their outcomes, already assisting 192 formerly incarcerated females in enhancing their workforce opportunities. And this month, they are planning to extend their Work Ready initiative to female ex-offenders, in addition to the women looking to apply for their certificates of rehabilitation. Spiritus is currently on track and exceeding most objectives. They received the Bank of America Champion Award, which enabled them to receive expert consultation services to help them critically evaluate their data collection practices, ensuring quality of data, and identifying opportunities for more impactful utilization. Unity has already enrolled more than 3/4 of their projected number of new participants, and they have included a number of immigrants and refugees. They have 58 participants enrolled in their pre-employment training, already exceeding their goal for the year. And they are currently engaged in efforts to replace their vocational counselor who was promoted within the organization. And the WISE Equity Through Development program just started in November, so we don't have any progress reports at this time. So I'll turn it back to Carol.
Wow, Linda, that looks like we're off to a really strong start. It's important that we stay abreast of industry grant-making practices and assess our own effectiveness in fulfilling our Circle mission through the grants we fund. After our 2024 grant cycle, we surveyed our committee members and consulted with the Community Foundation to determine if there were any opportunities for improvement in our grant-making practices. We received very good feedback. As a result, we simplified our online application by eliminating the logic model and executive summary, thereby reducing some redundant information. And we also assembled a task force to examine our internal review and selection practices. The task force encouraged the continuation of our 3-phase review model, but made several recommendations about changes to the review forms that guide our analysis. We discussed the importance of impact when deciding which programs to fund, and we are incorporating ways to enhance our collective understanding of what impact means relative to our Circle mission when evaluating applications. We've also adjusted our schedule to provide the maximum amount of time for our committee members to review their work. We really appreciate Susie Fitzgerald, Rita Gerritsen, Linda Josephs, and Marjorie Perlman, who worked with us on this task force. And we're anxious to see the results of these changes in our grant. Our 2025 grant cycle is now open until March 1st. We have $185,000 available from member donations last year, and we are continuing to award up to $25,000 for an annual grant. And we're allowing up to 2 years for the program to deliver results. We're continuing to offer the opportunity for agencies to define grant start and end dates. We reached out via email to 73 organizations and community leaders, many led by people of color, to let them know our grant cycle is open, with the hope that we attract new applicants with programs that align with our mission. Did you know that one of the benefits of being a Circle member is that it automatically gives you a seat at the table, enabling you to participate in determining how your funds are spent? This year, we have a committee identified of 13 Circle members, well, maybe 14 now, but we're looking for more women to serve. We're excited to have some of our newest members of the Circle join the committee this year. And so far, that's 3 and hopefully 4 members who have never served on the committee before. We will meet virtually so we can accommodate our members' schedules. The work of the committee runs from April to May, and although intensive during that short time frame, it is a very short-term commitment. So it's a short time frame, short-term commitment. No experience is necessary, and we guide the committee members through the process. So it's nothing to be afraid of if you haven't had any experience in grant making in the past. I'll just say that past participants have indicated to us that their experience was enlightening and rewarding, and that it enabled them to better understand what we do as a Circle and what the needs are within our community. So if you're interested, please drop me an email or use the chat feature now on Zoom to indicate that you would like us to contact you. Now I'll turn the floor over to our treasurer, Jill Miller.
Thanks very much, Carol. And it's good to see all of you here to really celebrate your membership in the Rochester Women's Giving Circle. I'll be presenting the finances, describing our success. I'm sorry, we have the wrong slide up. describing our successes and our solid financial base. First, the successes. We're maintaining our number of members at about 160. It's our members' contributions which enable us to make the grants to our very deserving grantee organizations. And the more members we have, the more dollars we have. Do talk to your friends about the Women Giving Circle and ask them to join. In 2024, we gave out a total of $190,000 in grants to 8 organizations, which Carol has identified. It was the most money since the COVID pandemic. If you look at the bottom slide there, the Charitable Investor Fund is a fund which holds special large grant gifts, and it received a new $10,000 gift last year. The fund now has a value of more than $40,000. Once it reaches about $100,000, we'll start to look for special larger projects that we can fund. Do consider this fund in your wills. Our 2024 members contributed $185,000 towards grants for this 2025 grant cycle. We have 2 levels of membership, Catalyst at $450 per year, and the Sustainer level at $10,050 or higher. We have 19 Catalyst members, and we have 35 Sustaining members who have contributed more than the nominal $1,050. All are contributing at the level that they are comfortable with. We have a wonderfully generous membership. But look at our history. The total number of grants that we've awarded over the last many years since 2008 is 155 grants. And that represents more than $2.5 million. We are truly making a difference. The next slide, please. What is truly remarkable about the Rochester Women's Giving Circle, when compared with other circles around the country, is our incredibly low operating and administrative costs. Through our participation in Philanos, the national organization of women's giving circles that Melinda talked about, we know that most circles have administrative fees well above $100 per member, and many also charge for their educational and their social meetings. Low administrative fees have been possible thanks to our use of low-cost tools and our total reliance on volunteers, a low-cost support infrastructure, and no paid staff. Our operating fund, which this slide talks to, is mostly financed by the $50 each of you contribute on top of the $400 or $1,000 or more that goes towards next year's grants. In 2024, the contributions amounted to some $8,500, while expenses were limited to about $6,000. This $2,500 annual surplus brought our end-of-year operating fund balance up to almost $10,500. The slide does not show it, but we do expect a small annual deficit this year, 2025. Our expenses will be higher due to inflation in space rental and catering costs. We've decided to have a more celebratory awards evening in June, and the Community Foundation will be charging higher administrative fees for holding and managing our money. Our operating fund will be easily able to handle the small expected 2025 deficit. We do, however, expect to increase operating fund fees in 2026 due to some expected new expenses. One of those is support for a leadership team representative to attend the biannual February 2026 national meeting of Philanos. By then, we will also finally need an upgrade of our website and our communications infrastructure. Like many nonprofits, we've tried to rely on member skills for web development and support, but that is becoming infeasible. Unless, of course, we have a member who is willing to volunteer to help support us in this area. We're now announcing that we will be raising our operating fund fees from $50 to $75 next year in 2026. This will bring in about $4,000 per year in additional funds to pay for these expected new expenses. Thank you all for the contributions that you have made, and we should all celebrate the successes of the Rochester Women's Giving Circle, and it's all due to your support. And I turn it back to Melinda.
Jill, thank you so much. I hope you all are currently like so happy with the results of our grant dollars and how we are managing our expenses. So with that, let's just kind of review our guiding principles, our mission, our values, and our vision. And Jill, thank you. Thank you for that. These principles really serve as our true north at leadership meetings, at grant making cycles, during the grant making underwriting cycles, with our partner committees, and our communication. So these values and our vision is to be out of business because we've solved women and girls in Rochester living in poverty. But I'm just kind of stuck here all of a sudden. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Our structure. We've talked about committees, and it's a quick review of how we are set up. And we are committee driven, except for communications, it's 2 people. And except for partners, it's 1 person. We're always looking for a co-chair. And education is a committee. So just a standalone there. But members volunteer to participate in those committees, grant making, partners, membership, and education. Those women who are acting as co-chairs share their duties. They alternate in attending leadership meetings that are held monthly. Our treasurer and our secretary are a standalone position, and they keep us on point. So let's take a look at the leadership team going forward in 2025. Here are the women who volunteer their time each month and year to guide us towards our mutual mission. The future of our circle depends on you, our members. The leadership team that you see has been wrestling with the topic of succession planning for several years. Many of us have been in leadership positions for years. We find the work rewarding. We enjoy the friendship and interactions we have on behalf of the circle and seeing you all at various locations throughout the community. And we find a fulfilling sense of purpose, taking care of the business of the circle and enabling positive change in our community. I'm asking you today to please consider helping to sustain this incredible community of caring women by choosing to become part of a committee or the leadership team. There have been changes this past 12 months. Kathy Hagan will join the grant making as another co-chair, sharing the responsibilities, as Carol said, with herself and Sue. Thank you, Kathy. Also joining the leadership team with Kathy Albertini will be Annette Mead, a member since 2012. Woo-hoo! Thank you, Annette, for your continued commitment. On the screen, you'll see Abby Schoenfeld and Heather Jones. They announced that they will be stepping down from their roles as co-chair. And I want to thank them for their years and their work. But they create our circulars, our press releases, and keep our website updated and attend the monthly leadership meetings. Abby and Heather have done an amazing job, and they will be able to share their knowledge and expertise with the members who fill in. They have messages, statements, past communication templates that can be referenced for future communications. please reach out to Nancy Hessler or myself if you're interested in coming on board and maybe dovetailing with Abby and Heather for a little bit. It would be great to welcome another voice. We also have an opening, with the question mark, as an education committee chair. I've been filling in as chair for now, but I do need to fill that position. The bonus for this incoming chair will be that your committee is already filled and your obligations for setting up 2 educational sessions for 2025 is already done. You'll attend leadership meetings and have an active voice with our circle. We are also planning as Jill said, a replacement of our website. So again, anyone who has skills or know of a service, please keep us posted. I think that's our next slide. That concludes. We are a well-oiled machine. Sorry, I stumbled a little bit in my delivery at the end, but I want you to know grant making can handle $185,000 in grants, but we could also, with our processes, handle well over $250,000, $500,000. So feel free to spread the word and get our grant dollars up. Nancy, what do we have in our chat? Anything?
Well, actually Barbara Moore, happy to have her on this call, ask about the Knowledge Management Committee and what they're responsible for. Maybe Kathy Albertini or Annette could give a just 30-second thumbnail. They have to be off of mute. Okay,
I think-
Kathy.
Okay, is Kathy? I don't see Kathy
Kathy
here.
is not on.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
I was waiting to see if Kathy was going to chime in since she is the more veteran member, but since she is not chiming in, I will do that. So what we do in knowledge management is we organize all of the I would say that the history and documentation of what's going on within the Giving Circle. So all of the different documents that are produced during the grant making cycle, those are handed over to the knowledge management team, and we make sure that those are all filed and found. We use Dropbox in a consistent place, so we have access to that. Same thing with the leadership meetings, tracking minutes, tracking the agendas, tracking any of the reports that come through, making sure all of that stuff is filed and saved so that we can trace our history through documentation. I think that mostly describes what we do.
Thank you, Annette. And Barbara, if you're interested, you can either connect with, oh, you're not. Oh, gosh. Well, maybe we could talk you into it. Okay, there's another great question that came in from Kathy Nixon. If any of us can give additional gifts now, would it help with the 2025 giving amount? Linda, do you want to take that question? Linda Joseph, you have to unmute.
Or can I take it perhaps?
Or Jill, yes, Jill.
We have been fairly flexible about taking money towards membership up into January in order to get a realistic number of members that is accorded to the end of 2024. And if you want the money to count towards the grants in this year, I would request that you do it in the next couple of days before we close the books on 2024.
And it might be good to shoot Jill Miller an email to tell her it's coming.
That would be helpful.
That's good. Thank you for the
Good.
question, Kathy Nixon. Any other questions? Claudia, did you just raise your hand? Claudia Weber? No, she didn't. Okay, any other questions from anybody? I can't see the whole screen and some people aren't on.
Yeah, and you did, yeah, I just looked at the chat. I think we've answered any questions and statements out there. But thank you very much for joining us today at noon. You guys keep us going, and I want to thank you again and again and again. I hope you're all doing well and be proud of our results. Go shout it on the mountain or, wherever and sing it where you go. But thank you very much.
And
Oh, thanks, Marjorie.
Thanks to you, all of our leaders. Thanks to you.
Thanks for you
Actually-
committee people. Come on, everybody's doing it.
Actually, I have
Okay.
a quick question.
Sure.
I'm a new
Marilyn.
member and I can't yet access the member section of the website. When I get that in place, is the report from today, will that be available on the website?
Marilyn, this is Terry. I did send you an email about your email address that I miscoded. So
Yes, I saw.
I said I would I will reach out to you because I've got to reach out to the person that'll fix it. And as soon as she does
Okay.
that, I'll let you know. And yes, then you will have access.
Okay, and all the dates for the 2025 events, are they also on the website in the member section? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to be patient.
Oh,
Okay, that's great, Marilyn. Now you've talked to websites so often. Now I'm wondering, do you have any, IT experience you can help us with?
I do not. One suggestion I have, but it's probably not something that wouldn't happen quickly.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever approached the Farish Foundation, if you have any relationship with them. They have a program that they're working with called TechSoup, but I think you have to be a grantee of the Farish Foundation to qualify.
Yes, I've heard of
Yeah,
TechSoup.
but
Yes,
you
thank you,
know,
Marilyn.
get IT assistance through that. I don't know if there's any other programs like that in town.
Well, keep us posted. I hope this was all informative. You've enjoyed being together today. Stay warm, watch out for black ice, walk like a penguin, be careful.